About more on this is divorce attorney Jennifer Hargrave. Jennifer, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Well, financial arguments can often lead to divorce, but now the cost of inflation is keeping couples from divorcing. So do these study findings surprise you at all?
They really don't. Of course, we known for a long time that financial stressors are a reason why people get a divorce. But I think we're definitely seeing people, kind of putting the brakes on the divorce when they realize that the cost of setting up a whole other household in this time of inflation is going to be a lot more expensive. So it's a factor people are taking into consideration for sure.
Right. So what advice then do you have for couples that are basically stuck because of financial reasons?
Well, first of all, I think people need to know that that there are options available to them. We know that conflict is the leading cause of costs in a divorce. So if you and your partner can come to the table, can work through the issues that need to be resolved without having to fight over them, it's going to be a lot more cost effective. And then you don't actually have to stay stuck. The other thing people need to consider is the cost of not getting a divorce. We know staying in a bad marriage is expensive in and of itself, not to mention, there's the financial side, but then there's just the stress and what it does to physical health. So, finances aren't the only consideration that people need to make when considering the overall future of their marriage.
Okay, speaking of stress, then we saw a spike in divorces during the pandemic, and now are you also seeing that recent inflation is causing a spike?
We definitely did see the spike. I think when people were, locked in quarantine together, they realized that maybe they really couldn't stand the person they were in quarantine with. I think as things opened up and people got back to normal life, kind of the distractions of normal life allowed people to maybe prolong or delay the divorce. But, these are difficult times for families. And, what we really would love to see, of course, is that families are able to find healthy ways to resolve the conflict and to be able to move forward and not have to get a divorce. But divorce is a fact of life. And when you need a divorce, it is money well spent.
Yeah, it is a personal decision. We don't want to condone divorce, but obviously each person is going to have a different reasoning for wanting to get a divorce. And couples do express worry about the future, like not being able to, if they divorce, afford rent or bills, for two separate households. You touched on that earlier, but how important is it to plan for the future before you actually file for divorce?
I think one of the most important things if you're considering divorce is to be really flexible and not be attached to an outcome, right? Because you don't know, the future is uncertain, and where you're going to end up living and how much things are going to be isn't known. But as you begin to work through the divorce process, you'll get a much better idea of what your future is going to look like. And at that point, you can really begin to make decisions. But I think it's a really good idea for people to explore options. Go look at the different neighborhoods, look at the different housing options that are available. So when it does come time to make a decision, you can make a really well-informed decision.
Okay, Jennifer Hargrave, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And coming up, Hurricane Fiona